Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is currently 12 a.m. on Wednesday now. I have not been able to sleep. This car has been driving me crazy. I cannot stop thinking about it. As you guys know, if you guys have watched the videos, I thought it was a slave cylinder issue, but from reading lots of comments and from Josh telling me, he is very confident that it is not my slave. It could be an issue, but from what we experienced driving this car, he is very confident that it is something clutch related. So while we're waiting for this new slave to come in, I'm going to pull the motor, double check the clutch, because I don't want to wait for the slave and wait several days of absolutely doing nothing for the slave to come in, for it to not fix anything, and then for us to pull the motor from there. But today also, I decided to buy a new camera and get a nicer setup for you guys. So this is my first time using this camera, lens, all of these new settings, which I have absolutely zero experience with. So I hope this is going to turn out good for you guys. I'm really excited for this camera. It should be a lot higher quality. And the biggest thing is this battery should not die on me an hour into a time lapse. I also went ahead and finally picked up a nice tripod. Very sturdy, and I absolutely love this tripod. Devin has the same one and I absolutely loved it, so I went ahead and also bought a new tripod for you guys. But like I mentioned, it is 12 a.m. right now. To be exact, it is at 12:05 and I'm just laying in bed non-stop thinking about this car. I want it done. I hate dragging you guys along. Plus, I want this car to be done so we can start getting to the fun stuff. Cleaning up the engine bay when it's finally put back together, because right now it just looks like a mess. I hate the way it looks. But also, I want to get some more break-in miles, get videos for you guys driving this car, enjoying it. We're going to go ahead and get this motor pulled. I'm not going to like crazy rush getting this out. I don't want to mess anything up. But we're not going to go slowly because it is late in the night now. I was hoping to be asleep by now. But we're going to see how long it can take us to get this motor out of the car. It is nice. We don't really have to disassemble much. We're going to keep the long block assembled. Obviously, there's some small things that we need to get rid of. But for the most part, we can keep this intact. We just have to drain the oil and coolant. The reason I say oil, this is my biggest complaint with having this turbo kit. And I'll show you guys here. It's going to be hard for you guys to see, but I have my turbo oil return line that goes under my frame rail to the oil pan. It is at such an angle when I just take off the line that it just leaks out of the fitting for the oil pan. So I do have to drain the oil on this to pull the motor. So it is unfortunate because this oil isn't cheap. It's like $55 to top this off. But I want this car done and I want to do this right. So I'm going to set you guys down on the tripod and get this motor out of this car. Alright, it is now like 1:30 in the morning. I got a phone call at 1 o'clock telling me to not pull this motor, wait for the slave, because now I'm getting mixed opinions saying that they don't think it is a clutch issue. So I'm kind of torn right now, but we are to the stage of pulling the motor. All I have to do is drain the coolant, oil, and I have a couple bell housing bolts, and this motor is ready to come out. So I'm not quite sure what to do. I feel like I'm already this far to get this motor out, so I feel like it might be worthwhile just pulling it to double check. I don't know, I'm kind of torn up. It is 1:30 now and it is freezing cold in the shop, and truthfully I kind of lost motivation to get this pulled tonight. I'm numb cold, I'm kind of exhausted now, and if I am pulling this motor I need to be up early to get this pulled so I can still have this video for you guys tomorrow, or I guess today for you guys that are watching. So that is a little update right here. I'm torn. I don't know. Leave a comment what you guys think the issue is. If this is its own video, still not quite sure what it is, but leave a comment what you guys think the actual result is, whether it is being like a shifter linkage issue, transmission issue, slave, clutch issue. I don't know. Let me guys know what you guys think the issue is. It'll be interesting to see finally what this issue is and get it figured out. I'm hoping it's nothing big. I was told it is possible that it is shifter linkage because, I mean, I've had this motor out so many times, messing with the transmission, jacking it up, moving it around, wiggling it. There's a possibility it just shifted the linkage just slightly off, so when I am driving the car hard, it might not be grabbing a gear. I don't know. I'm quite exhausted. I'm kind of just blabbering right now. But I'll be interested to see what you guys think the actual root cause is. I don't know. I'm trying to think of every possible situation of what it could be, and I'm clueless. I have such a hard time believing that it is the clutch. I do not see how a plate got put on backwards. One, I would have smelt this clutch driving because it would have been burning, and I've never smelt any clutch in this car. So it's hard for me to believe that it is a backwards disc. I don't know. There's quite a few options of what it could be. But make sure to let me know what you guys think the issue is. Alright, it is now same day, but now it is morning time, afternoon, and we have a few things left in order to get this motor pulled out of here. Now last night I was contemplating whether I was going to continue to pull the motor and just see if the slave fixed it. But after sleeping on it, it makes sense just to pull the motor. We're already pretty much here, ready to pull the motor. And I'd hate to wait for the slave to show up to put that on and rebleed, just for us to have to redo this process and get this motor pulled out of here. So we're just gonna get it pulled out. There is also a few things I would like to do when this motor is out. As you guys can see, everything is covered in oil. Might be hard to tell, but my dipstick shot out and got oil everywhere. You guys can kind of see it's on my hood. So I'd like to clean up this engine bay, get the motor rinsed down, just get this entire engine bay cleaned out a little bit, get the hood cleaned. It's a lot easier to clean this motor when it's out of the car without everything attached to it. So at least we'll get that done, even if the clutch is not bad. And if you guys have been watching the channel for a little bit now, you guys know I ended up hurting my back over Christmas break and was not able to really work on this car. I thought it was healed, and then after working on this car, getting it torn apart, I hurt my back again, and it hurts quite a bit to continuously bend over and especially lift things. So I am going to have help. Bo is going to be coming in, and he'll probably be doing all the heavy lifting getting this motor out of the vehicle, just so I don't strain my back and cause any more damage. Currently, we have the coolant draining out of the radiator. That takes a while, so I'm just gonna have this sit. We got the downpipe off, we got the two motor mount bolts off, we have the chassis mounts off. All we have left to do now is these heater core, drain the oil, and then disconnect the oil return from the turbo, get the power steering pump off, and we are good to pull this. I hope that was picked up on camera. Huh. I'm jacking up the motor, getting ready to pull it out, and my trusty mounting point, you guys can see, the bolt snapped off. Interesting, I've never had that happen, ever. This may set us back a little bit. Unless I can find another mounting point to use, but I don't know. I am very shook, I guess you could say. I have no idea where the head of that bolt went. Well, I set it on the camera, and thankfully this bolt where it snapped was sticking a little bit outside the block, and I was able to unthread it with my fingers. But that's how many threads were in the block, so it wasn't like it was too loose and it broke out and stripped any threads. So the head of this bolt must have been just too weak, I guess. So we'll go ahead and throw another bolt in. This is a titanium bolt, so maybe it just couldn't handle the weight, which is weird because I use this bolt every single time that I pull this motor. But we'll go ahead and put a regular steel bolt in there and get this motor out of here. Well, I don't know if you guys were able to see that on camera, but the clutch was placed perfectly on. It was not messed up in any way. There's no damage to the clutch. The clutch looks good. So I pulled this motor for essentially nothing, but at least I know that the clutch was put on correctly. But with that being said, that is going to end out today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm happy we were able to cross one more thing off the checklist that could be a potential issue. So hopefully when I put it back in, I don't mess anything up. Shouldn't, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see what it is now. I am putting my money that it is on a slave or even the shifter linkage. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.